How is a BS in psychology relevant to the Elumelu for grants? Let me tell you why. There is a part of the online test that is what psychologists will call a psychometric test or a personality test, right? So as a psychologist, I understand exactly what the foundation is looking for, and I have taken the test multiple times, and every single time I end up as a disruptor. I'm going to explain what that means. A disruptor, that's like the highest possible mark you can score when you take Tony Elumelu's test, right? And every single time I take that test, I'm always a disruptor. It's like when you take IELTS or IELTS, whatever it is you pronounce it, and you're always consistently getting 8 or 9 out of 9, right? So another reason why I'm absolutely qualified to take this is that I'm a Tony Elumelu fellow. And the organizer, Dr. Adeyeye, is a Tony Elumelu fellow. So this is not that seminar where they teach you how to make money and they don't have anything in their account. No, you are not in the wrong place. You are in the right place. Another reason why you should listen to me, okay, I already mentioned this earlier about the people that are guided. Another reason why I'm qualified to teach this, why you should absolutely pay attention, is I co-founded a service last year which connects people who want to win grants with the top 5% of grant writers, right? And we already have success stories. People who won grants, a lady who was weeks away from closing our school, contacted us, won a grant, now the school is doing fine. Another reason is, of course, Grandmaster. We have about 54 top grant writers who have won $4.5 million. I know that you're all interested in money on this course, so that's one thing we have in common. And then, of course, why also am I qualified to teach this? It's because I have attracted $250,000 from brands like Amazon and Google in perks, right, from this brand. So please, I want you to pay attention. I hope that I have your attention now, right? I want you to pay attention. That's why I'm taking my time to mention all of this. So let's get started. Now, you see, your journey to the TEP grant in 2021 it's a bit long. It's a long walk to freedom. It looks like this. You sign up on the portal, you apply, you fill in your information, you take the online test. Just like I mentioned earlier, it's a psychometric test, and it's also going to test your business knowledge. You get your results immediately, whether you fail or you pass. I can already see some people saying "God forbid," right? When I mention the fail part, of course, as long as you're on this course, you're not going to fail, right? Just pay attention, you pass. Next, the system filters, data to eliminate duplicates, and then next, based on your score, you are segmented, right? Either you're a disruptor, I'm going to talk about that later, and then if you're successful, you are either a startup, an innovator, or a disruptor. Like I said earlier on, the disruptor part, that is like the highest rating that you can get, right? And then after you pass the online test, the journey is just getting started. You will then go on to a 12 weeks business training, and then this will be followed on by a business plan contest. It's a competition, essentially, right? Because now, I'm still going to talk in depth about all of this. Let me just go through. So once you do all the business training, it's online classes, you do assignments, you go on to a business plan. If you submit a very strong business plan, then you get to the final stage, which is the pitch contest. Of course, this is my favorite because the pitch contest is like Shark Tank. How many of you want to show Shark Tank? I want you to go to the chat section right now and tell me if you've heard about Shark Tank before. I want to hear, if you've heard about it before, just say yes. If you've never heard about Shark Tank before, just say no. Let's do that very quickly. Okay, let me see. No. Okay, so I'm going to type it, and I want you all to go and watch as many episodes of Shark Tank as possible on YouTube or Facebook Watch. Shark Tank, right? If you want to learn how to pitch, you should start from Shark Tank, right? You're going to see pitches that will literally blow your mind, right? Like, I can also share with you the winning pitch, the pitch where I attracted about $250,000. I won a global investment summit last year from brands like Amazon and Google. We got $250,000 in support from them, from perks, even though not real physical cash, but in support, in software support, all kinds of support, right? And I can also share that. But please check out Shark Tank immediately after this class. I think you're going to find it very useful. Now, if you're unsuccessful and those people are not on this call, what happens is you have to reapply next year. But that is the whole reason why we're here. So that you will not have to reapply next year, I want you to pay rapt attention. Okay, let's move on. Now, this particular seminar, this particular training happening right now is for two categories of people. So essentially it's for People who applied last year and qualify for the next phase, and you're still wondering whether you should reapply or not. And then it's for people who are applying for the very first time. So if you applied last year and you actually passed the online test, the portal will open for access and review on February 1st. It's already open, right? And then in confirmation, the deadline for that is March 31st. So if you passed the online test last year, please, by all means, go and reconfirm. If you're applying for the first time, no big deal, right? Just go to tefconnect.net/sign up. Note, pay attention. It's tefconnect.net, not .com. Now, both .com and .net are owned by the foundation. But if you go to tefconnect.com, it is going to take you to the online learning portal, and you are going to fill a lot of forms that you probably don't need right now. So you probably, the online learning platform is fantastic, right? But if you really just want to apply for this competition, for this grant, just go straight to where it's happening, which is tefconnect.net/sign up. Okay, so before we go into the nitty-gritty of the Tony Elumelu grant, I just want to share with you very quickly some of the things that can help you win grants, right? Grants like Tony Elumelu, of course. What are the things that you should look out for, right? And I want to be sure that I'm not doing this alone, right? I want to be sure that you're following. So the first step is right solutions. You need to solve the right problem. But I just want to be sure that we're following. So in a few minutes, I'm going to ask you some questions, so just to see if you're following. Now, I'm going to share 4 tips with you how to win grants. The first is right solutions. You need to learn to solve the right problem. And what do I mean? See, solve a pressing problem. I don't know if you've noticed this, but it seems as if a lot of people that win grants, it seems as if a lot of people in the health space tend to win grants. And why do I say this? I have people like Dr. Adeyeye, for instance, a friend of mine who's probably you've heard about Help Mom, or you've heard about Mother's Delivery Kit. And you just look at businesses like that and you go, they're always winning grants up and down. The reason is that they are solving a pressing problem. When you hear these guys talk about maternal mortality in Nigeria, even you will grab your chest. We all agree that maternal mortality is a pressing problem. So you have to be solving a pressing problem, right? You cannot be solving a problem that people don't even know they have. No. You're not going to attract the grant that way. Because if funders have 3 different people doing something, right? The question is, the funder is thinking, who can I give my money? Who can make the best use of my money? Please do understand. You need to be able to think like the founder, right? And that is why you have to solve a pressing problem. Next, connect it to the SDGs. Okay, let me test our knowledge. How many SDGs do we have? How many SDGs? Give me the number. Go to the chat section now. Give me the number. How many SDGs do we have? Oh yeah, it's Isaac, correct, 17. So out of the 17 SDGs, you need to look for at least one that is related to what you do and connected to the SDGs. Why? The reason is that the SDGs are the goals, sustainable development goals. That's like the direction the world is going. Those are the goals that the world and the world leaders consider as important. So you need to find a way to key what you're doing. For instance, goals like zero hunger, no poverty, decent work. Find a way to key it into what you're doing. If, for instance, you're running maybe a talent accelerator or maybe an HR firm, helping people recruit, that is decent work now, right? If you run an organization that maybe an agri-based organization where you're providing some maybe food or livestock or something like that, that is zero hunger, right? Connect it to the SDGs. Next is find grants funding your sector. What do I mean? It's not every day that you find grants like Tony Elumelu, where they fund people from different sectors, right? Maybe education, health. Tony Elumelu funds all different sectors, but a lot of the other grants are sector specific, meaning that there are some funders that they only focus on education. There are some funders that they only fund NGOs. So if you are not aligned with what the funder is looking for and you apply, honestly, apply from today till next year, you keep getting rejection mails. So you need to first find grant funding your sector. And finally, I need you to work on your writing skills. See, if there is a superpower that you need to have, that you need to sharpen, it is your storytelling skills. It is your writing skills. Why? Simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. The way you can prove that you know something is for you to be able to explain it very simply. There is something called the grammar test, which is if you can explain something to your grandma, if you can explain what you do to your grandma, and your grandma can understand what you do, you are most likely you are ready to win a grant. Because don't assume that the people that are going to read your grant application are knowledgeable in your field. Don't assume that they are, maybe you're doing something in agric. Don't assume that they studied agric extension in school. No. You need to be able to write in a way that you communicate, that you can communicate very easily and very simply. Here's my recommendation for you. Every single day, read at least one article online. Read a blog. Follow writers that you love, right? Read. The way to be a good writer is to read more and then write more. If possible, start writing essays, even if it's just one weekend. Write an essay. You know those essays we used to write in primary school and secondary school. You know, the best day of my life. I remember the day. It was Kineko in 1990. Write it. You need to sharpen your writing skills. Some of us, we have good ideas. Our business are interested. But when we write, oh God, it's terrible. So I want you to write. Now, if you're in that category and you really agree with me that you need to work on your writing skills, I want you to go to the chat section and write and type right there and say, I am going to change. If you are convinced that you need to improve your writing skills, I want you to go to the chat section right now and type, I am going to change. So let me start. Let me get us started. I am going to change. Okay. Oh yeah, I can see. All I do is say I'm going to change. Yeah, so many people are going to change. All I do is also saying, is it grammar test also? Explain your business to kids age 4 and below. Well, yes, it's also grammar test, because the whole idea is that, grandmas don't have time for complicated things, right? And the same with your kids. If you can explain what you do to your kids and your kids can understand it, then it means that you really know exactly what you're talking about. Remember when we were in school, whether university or polytechnic, even secondary school, you remember that the teachers that were explained to us very well were the ones that knew the subject. The ones that would come to class and bamboozle us, those are the ones that are empty head. They didn't know anything. They just read textbook and come and pour inside the class. It's because they didn't know. So the way to prove that you actually know your business or you know what you're doing is to be able to explain it in a very simple way, so that the people reading your application, they're like, Banisor, talk to me. They're feeling you, right? Okay, let's move on. So number 2 is radical pitches. When I'm talking about radical pitches, I'm talking about you building a brand. Don't build a commodity, build a brand. Regardless of your idea or the business that you do, you need to build it into a brand, not a commodity. Now, how many of us remember when Nokia phones were still very popular? Right? How many of us remember? How many of you can count the number of Nokia phones on your hand? Right? Okay, I want to be sure that we're following. So I want you to go to the chat section and list the models of Nokia phones that you can remember. Right? List all the models you can remember. Me, I remember 3310, right? So let me see. Let me see the people who actually use Nokia phones. Okay, it's me. 3310. Let's keep going. 3310. 2100. Which other Nokia phones do you remember? Which other one again? Amoritana. Really? I'm hearing this one for the first time. Okay. I just know Nokia had so many crazy phones, right? Now, 2100. Nokia sees something. Okay, let's go on. Now, when you compare a brand like Nokia to, say, a brand like Apple, you begin to see the differences. Apple literally had very few products. In fact, you can count the number of products almost on your fingers, right? iPhone, iPod, iPad, it's usually high. Okay, Wellington, I can see you're saying something. It's usually high, right? Nokia basically built a brand around quality, right? Around customer delight, around a fantastic user experience. So they had very few phones, but those phones were very powerful phones, right? And I want you to understand this very well, that in your grant application, just like with people and with products, there are 2 categories. There are brands and there are commodities. There are branded people and there are commoditized people. There are branded products and there are commoditized products. There are branded services and there are commoditized services. Let me give an example. If you were to be invited to a program, put on the high table, and they came to serve you water, and they brought pure water to the high table for you, how will you feel? Will you be happy or sad? Chat section, let's go. Okay, 95, I can see you. You're seated on the high table. They bring you water to, as somebody on the high table, and it's pure water inside sachet. Will you be happy or sad? I want to see your reaction. Okay, I then they'll be sad and disappointed. Stella, of course, is upset. Now, the thing is that even though sometimes the guys that manufacture pure water are also the same guys that manufacture bottled water, but the fact that inside pure water, I mean, you're like, are you people underrating me, right? That is the difference between a brand and a commodity. A brand is any product, service, or person that is easy to identify and hard to substitute. A commodity is any product, service, or person that is hard to identify and easy to substitute. So the reason why Nokia phones went on that was because you could easily replace a Nokia phone. But an Apple phone, what do you want to replace it with? Maybe Samsung, right? Exactly. It's difficult to replace it. When you see people using Apple, right, and then you are talking to them about Android, they will even close their ears. They don't want to hear it. Right? That is because they built a brand. So you need to find a way to make your product or your service, build it into a brand. And how do you do that? Focus on a compelling problem, like I mentioned earlier, build a solution, and then focus on differentiation. What will make, if you run a poultry farm, what makes your poultry farm different from the 1,001 poultry farms around? You need to find something different about it. Find something different, right? Find something different, something unique. Find an angle, something that stands out. If, for instance, let me give you an example. There was a friend of mine that went to Elumelu some years ago, and our idea was very radical. She proposed a mobile kitchen. Mobile kitchen, meaning that it was kitchen on wheels, and she was targeting very high traffic areas. So basically, she's in a truck, she's selling food in high traffic areas on wheels, and they also deliver food. There is no stationary kitchen, it's food on wheels. She won. Why did you win? Because every other person is pitching Mama Put our food inside one place, but then one person is coming up with a crazy idea and saying our restaurant is going to be mobile. That's differentiation. It's not your regular usual restaurant anymore. It's different. So you need to find an angle. Find something different about your idea. Don't just pitch a school. What is different about your school? Right? And don't say, please, it's the school uniform. No, that's not the differentiation tactic. Right? It could be the style of teaching. It could be maybe Montessori or something. It could be the way you hire your teachers, right? It could be even the location of the school. It could be maybe the students that you produced, right? You need to find a way to differentiate yourself from the sea of applicants. Very important. And one way to do that is to also narrow your focus, right? There is something called the law of inverse proportion. The law of inverse proportion in branding is that the power of a brand is inversely proportional to its scope. What does this mean? The fewer things that you do, the higher the probability that people will remember you and that you will stick in their mind, right? You don't want to be that guy or that lady who is selling kerosene, selling recharge cards, selling rice, selling phone, selling sweets. Nah, you're not building a brand. You are scatterbrained. You need to be focused, right? So radical pitches. Now, I want us to move on very quickly. Let me show you some things. How can you be convincing? How can you be convincing? Because we're talking, radical pitches. And I have a quote for you. It's called FAQs. This is something that I came up with myself. If you see it anywhere, it's Benga's, invention or whatever it is that you want to call it. I came up with it myself. And it's facts, analogies, quotes, and stories. FAQs. Now, I want to be sure that we're following. So I just want you to go to the chat section right now. And I want you to tap FAQs right now, if you're following. Let me see the people that are following. FAQs. Just type FAQs. Let's go. Chat section. Okay, today Isaac is following. Thank you. Who else is following? Yemisi is following. FAQs. Stella is following. Adeyeye is following. FAQs. Fantastic, fantastic. Good. Abegune is following. Dr. A is following. Bola is following. Oh, this is fantastic. So let's go on. Now, when we're talking FAQs, what am I talking about exactly? F stands for facts. Facts. Now, what is a fact? A fact is something known to be true based on evidence. This means that when you're writing your grant application, you should use facts. For instance, Nigeria has a population of 201 million. That is a fact. Nobody can argue with you. Put it there. If it's relevant to your application, put it there, right? Look for facts that are relevant. Maybe, for instance, you're in a Greek space, and maybe, I don't know the number, the amount of food that Nigeria imports every year. But I mean, that's a fact you can use to show that Nigeria is heavily importing food, right? Use the fact. Next is analogy. What's an analogy? Analogy is a comparison between one thing and another. That is analogy. A comparison between one thing and another. Just a minute. So let me give you an example of analogy. Now, some of us don't understand how serious the power supply issue in Nigeria is. We don't understand how serious it is. As I'm talking to you right now, I'm running on inverter. This light you're seeing, everything you're seeing here, is not NEPA and it's not Gen, it's inverter, right? And I'm sure some of you're probably running on Gen wherever you are, and power supply in Nigeria is, it's a very complicated something. Now, if you really want to show a funder, maybe you're working on solar, maybe solar is your idea, and you want to show in your grant application that power is a serious problem, here's what you can do. You can compare power supply in Nigeria with power supply in South Africa. Now, why should you compare both, or why would you consider it? It's simple. South Africa is a country in Africa here. Nigeria is also in Africa. What is the population of Nigeria? About 200 million. What is the population of South Africa? Around 60 million. Do you know that South Africa generates... Oh, I'm running on generator presently. That's how your daily... Okay. So I just want to check power supply in South Africa. Okay, so according to the Ministry of Mineral Resources and Energy, South Africa's total domestic energy generation capacity is 58,000 megawatts. Let's check power supply in Nigeria. So you can see, I hope you can see my screen. Power supply in Nigeria. Okay, so Nigeria has the potential, please let's pay attention, potential to generate 12,000 megawatts, but most days it is only able to generate 4,000 megawatts. So I want us to follow this gist. This gist is very interesting. So South Africa, SA, is generating 58,000 megawatts. Nigeria is struggling to generate 4,000 megawatts. Now, what is the population of South Africa? Population of South Africa. Right? 58.56 million. SA's population is 58.56 million. What is the population of Nigeria? Nigeria. The population of Nigeria is 201 million. Okay, so let's go back to PowerPoint. Now, please, can you see the problem? If you're following, can you see the problem right now? If you still don't understand how serious Nigeria's energy is, can you see the problem right now? South Africa's population, our population is about 4 times the size of South Africa, but South Africa is generating how many times the power? Let me just do the maths very quickly so that we can have 58.56 when you divide this by 4. South Africa is generating 14 times Nigeria's power. 14 times. I want you to think about that for 1 minute. South Africa has 1/4 of our population, but it's generating 14 times our power. 14 times. 14. So if you want to show that power supply in Nigeria is really backward, that we're in the Stone Ages, just use statistics. Just compare South Africa with Nigeria in terms of power. Please, I hope you're getting this. I hope this is making sense, right? The same way you're hungry right now is the same way the people reviewing your grant application will be like, wow, because especially if it's a foreign grant, probably people reviewing it in the UK or US, light does not go off. They don't understand. When you say power outage, they're like, power outage. What is that? They can't relate. So analogies are a very good way to what? To show the difference. Let's move on to quotes. What is a quote? A quote is a short sentence and is drawn from a long experience. A quote is like a proverb, right? Think about, I want to give you practical examples. If you're working in education, for instance, and say, your ideas around education, you can either start or close your grant application by quoting someone like Nelson Mandela, right? Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon with which you can change the world. Are you feeling it already? That is the power of the quote. If you're working on something related to security, right? Maybe something related to security, right? You can quote Kofi Annan. Kofi Annan once said, and I quote, um, poverty anywhere is a threat to security and peace everywhere. Oh, okay. Wow, Daniela, thank you so much. Stella, thank you so much. Thank you. So you need to look for quotes. You need to look for quotes, proverbs that are related to your grants. In fact, if possible, start collecting them. Start collecting all those quotes that are related to your grants. The ones that will strengthen your grant application. Maybe something that an expert said, about solar, about your field. You need to look for quotes. Think about quotes like Maggie, right? Something like that. If it's related to food, for instance, you can use for a quote on agriculture. Someone like Akinwumi, the African Development Bank president, he has said a lot of things about agriculture, right? Go and look for a quote related to your grant funding, right? Think about quotes like Maggie that you sprinkle in your application. They are powerful. And finally, stories. You see, this is my favorite. In fact, if you don't pick anything from this session, if this is the only thing you pick, I'm telling you, you have picked something. Facts tell, but stories sell. Stories are like a Trojan horse. Stories are they're like the fastest way to communicate something to someone, right? They are the fastest way to transport people from where they are to where you want them to be, right? And transportation leads to persuasion. So if there is a superpower you need to absolutely work on, it's your storytelling skills. In pitching, in writing your grant application, you will find that storytelling is really going to help you. And I'm looking at, I want to tell you a very short story. That won't take a lot of time, just to show you the power of storytelling. Okay, so let me tell you the story of Nakleen. Nakleen is a primary school owner, and she was hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic, especially during the lockdown, that happened last year, where schools had to close down. So she had to send kids home. Of course, kids were at home, maybe their parents could not go to work, so there was no money to pay school fees. And of course, the parents were like, our students are not in school, right? We're not paying fees because they didn't even have the money. But because she didn't want to lose the kids to other schools, and because she truly cared about our students, she did online classes for free. Now, she had to pay salaries, but she couldn't maintain everything because no money was coming in. So sadly, she had to lay off some staff. She had to retrain some people. She had to reduce salaries, and she was literally weeks away from shutting down her school. Then she came across a Facebook grant, and then when she was looking at the grant, she was thinking to herself that, can I possibly win this? Thinking about the thousands of people that will apply. You know how competitive grants can be. And then a friend of ours told her, I think about Grandmaster. And then she was like, no. And then, okay, she said, oh, Grandmaster is this. Her friend is someone we had worked with, so I'd won a grant. And she went to our website, filled the form. The first thing we noticed was that our financials were done on paper and pencil, right? She did our financials, no digital records, it was just paper and pencil. And so the first thing we did was we paired her with an accountant. We got an accountant to review our books, open an official bank account, get our books in order. Then we paired her with a grant writer. Of course, all our grant writers are badass. And what we did was we're able to tell Nakleen's story in a very touching way. You see, there's a way you tell a story, that it reaches into the depths of the soul of whoever is reviewing your grant application. And we're able to put together our story to show the agony, the pain of having to fire people. Not because they were not good enough, but because there was no money to pay their salaries. Very sad and tragic. We put all together all of those stories. The stories are financials. She put in for the application. Ladies and gentlemen, Nakleen won the grant. Now, the school is back more than ever. She was able to hire all those people she fired back. She has even expanded her facility. She's building another one right beside. All because she saw an opportunity, and Grandmaster was right beside her, who provided the support that made her dreams come true and prevented the school from shutting down. That is the power of Grandmaster. Okay, so that's the short story I just told you. Now, I want you to go to the chat section and tell me, did you feel that story? Please, if you found the story boring, if you didn't connect, please type it there. Don't hype me unnecessarily. Go to the chat section and tell me whether or not you like the story, or you remember the story, or you connected with the story. Let's go very quickly. Okay, oh, it's Isaac. This thing is killing. Okay. George, hi. Okay. Oh, I like you saying awesome. Okay. Any other person you connected? I didn't get the question. Okay, so the question is, if you connected with the story, just say yes, right? If you felt the story, please, if you hated the story, just type it there. I hated the story. Please give me feedback. Don't hype me unnecessarily. Right? Okay. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for your feedback. Thank you. So that is the power of the story, essentially. It's a really good way to to share a narrative of a true or an imagined event. It's a good way for people to really understand and experience what you do and the impact of what you do. So you have to start collecting stories. If you run a business, start collecting stories. How do you get those stories? From testimonials. The customers that are so happy about your service, the customers whose lives were changed, transformed. Collect testimonials. If possible, shoot video. Right? Shoot video if possible. Because those stories are going to be so useful for you when you get to the pitching stage of Tony Elumelu and when you're applying for other grants and you're asked to, just write about, what you do, right? Stories. Don't forget. Facts tell, but stories sell. Next, the process is simple. Like I said, and I will repeat again, solve a pressing problem. Find a solution, a smart solution. And what? Differentiation. Find a way to differentiate what you do, right? Make it different. Okay, let's move on. So let me just give an example of what an elevator pitch looks like. This is a pitch that you give. Okay, think about elevator pitch this way. Imagine you enter an elevator and you meet Tony Elumelu in the elevator, right? Now, I know we're talking about Tony Elumelu, but what exactly will you do if you meet Tony Elumelu in an elevator? Will you just go like, or will you be composed and maybe even pitch your business with Tony Elumelu? So, can you pitch your business in 60 seconds? Now, let me just give you an example, a simple example, right, of an elevator pitch by ePower, a digital agency that I run. For businesses who wish to gain visibility and attract more customers online, ePower.ng is a digital agency that connects SMEs to their preferred target audience through websites, games, and apps. Unlike traditional advertising that is hard to target and difficult to measure, ePower harnesses the power of design and digital storytelling to help businesses make the shift from overlooked to overbooked. That's it. Short, straight to the point. Now, this is the formula, right? For mention a target customer, who, statement of need, D, the name of your product, is A, right? That was the key benefit. Unlike what makes you different from a competitor, our product statement of primary differentiation. Every single person on this call should have an elevator pitch for your business. You should be able to pitch your business in 30 seconds, right? When they say pitch your business, don't be saying, actually, unlike, beside, no. If I want somebody starts a sentence with actually, I know they don't have anything to say. I already know, right? Or somebody starts scratching their head and say, it is finished. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go straight to number 3. Founders are looking for resourceful entrepreneurs, right? And we're talking traction here. See, if you can't do anything without money, you won't do something with money. Let me take that again. If you can't do anything without money, you won't do something with money. We, of course, in my capacity as the CEO Grandmaster, we work with a lot of startups who are trying to raise funding, right? And of course, sometimes these startups get to the final stage. One question they always ask is, have you won a grant before? So, if Tony Elumelu is your first grant, I congratulate you and I hope that you all win, because it is easier for you to win a second grant after you won a first grant. The reason is that funders don't want to give money, to somebody who doesn't know how to handle money, right? And they also will not give money to somebody who has not shown that they can do something without money. What do I mean? If, for instance, the only thing you have is your idea, I'm sorry to tell you, you are not likely to win Tony Elumelu. You will not. In fact, let me say it, you will not win. Am I saying that ideas are not welcome? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that funders like Tony Elumelu Foundation are looking for people who have done something. Let me give you an example. For instance, have you built a website? Do you have at least one paying customer? Do you have office space? It doesn't have to be an office. Maybe you're working from your home. That's something. Do you have maybe an agreement with some people, right? Do you have you sold? Right? In fact, sales is like the best traction, right? Buying customers, even if it's 2 or 5, it shows that some people at least are paying for your service, right? So it's about you show traction, whether it's equipment that you bought, whether it's your website you built or sales that you have. You need to show traction. Okay, let's move on. What have you done? What is your current milestone? Don't expect anybody to give you money if you've not done something with that idea. If the idea is just everything, you just have it in your head, and that idea is making sense only to you, I'm sorry to disappoint you. You are not likely to win a grant. Do something about that idea. Do something. Do something. I want to be sure that you're following and that you're actually feeling this. So I want you to go to the chat section right now and type, I will do something. I want to know the people who are going to do something about the ideas, especially people who are still at the idea stage. I want you to type, I will do something. Let's go. I will do something. And if you've passed the idea stage and you want to inspire the other people who are still at the idea stage, you can type, go and do something, right? If you've gone past that stage, go and type, go and do something. But if you want to work on your idea, please type, I will do something. Okay, yes. I can see Yemisi Akeju, I will do something. Stella is also saying she's going to do something. Adeyeye will do something. Olugbenga will do something. Wow. Oh, Chichi is saying, I have done some things. Chichi, you are doing well. Okay, Adeyeye is saying, go and do something. All right, okay, fantastic. Let's move on. Now, you see, one of the best reasons, in fact, the best reason to need capital, whether it's grant funding or equity funding or even loan, is speed. It's not to fix a sales or technology problem. It's speed. If you apply for a grant and you're telling them that with this money, we currently are serving 100 customers, with this money we're going to serve 200 customers. That's music. That is music to the ears of the funders. Or you tell them that currently we are serving, if it's a restaurant, currently we are serving about 200 meals per day. With this grant funding and the things that we're going to implement, we'll be able to serve 1,000 meals per day. Jackpot. Because even grant funders are looking for people that can what? That can make them look good. Even Tony Elumelu is looking for success stories. They want you to be successful so that they can share your story. They also raise money too now. So the best reason to make capital is speed. It's not to fix a problem. It's not to fix sales. It's acceleration, speed. Now, another key thing you should know is your addressable market, which is your target audience, right? Who are you targeting? If, for instance, let's say you have a service for secondary schools or private secondary schools. I have market research for you. Done for you. According to market research, the average population of students in private schools is 200. Now, there are about 1.47 million students in private secondary schools, according to National Population Commission. This means we have about 7,392 private schools in Nigeria. That means that if you have a service for private schools in Nigeria, now you know your target audience. You know the number of schools you can reach, right? In total. Right? And so you can maybe start with maybe 5 schools, 10 schools, but at least you have an idea of the total market size, right? So you need to know who your target audience is. Please, when you are filling a grant application and they say your target audience, don't write 200 million Nigerians. No, it is impossible. Even Dangote, with all his money, Africa's richest, he has still not converted the entire country to a customer. Right? There are people that would rather die than buy Dangote cement. I don't know whatever beef it is they have with Dangote, right? So if Africa's richest man cannot convert everybody in the country to become a customer, you cannot. Please don't tell me, is Allah or Jesus Christ now. No, don't go religious on me. You absolutely cannot turn the entire country to your target audience. Let me prove it to you. Even Facebook, is it every Nigerian that is on Facebook? No. So therefore, everybody is not your target audience. Please, I hope you get this. This is very important. And so, what are some of the numbers that you need to know? You need to know your numbers as an entrepreneur. You need to know the total amount of cash you've invested. See, if you've been keeping your financials on paper and pencil, you're not serious. So you need to start keeping your financials using a financial software, maybe like Wave, like Zoho, right? There's another one that is very popular in Nigeria, right? Just look for a financial software. Because when you use financial software, you can literally see your progress. You can predict your earnings months in advance. You can tell that with the way we are spending money, if you continue on this trajectory, we'll be broke in the next 2-3 years. You can see the graphs, the charts. It all makes sense. So please stop keeping records on using paper and pencil. Use a financial software, and it's going to be easy for you if you're applying for a grant and they ask for a financial statement. Meanwhile, they do this a lot. They do this a lot. They ask you to submit your financial statement. How will you submit a financial statement if everything you are doing is paper and pencil, right? So please, some of you on this call, you need to repent, right? Start keeping records, financial records, using a financial software. Next, what are your current monthly cash expenses? You need to know how much you're spending every single month, right? Those are the numbers, the kind of numbers that should be in your head. If you ask me right now, wake up in the middle of the night, I know exactly how much we're spending on salaries. I know exactly how much we're making every single month. Those numbers are in my head, right? Of course, you should also know how much you've generated in terms of your income, right? It's pretty straightforward. You should know that. Okay, so let's move on. What are the other things you should know? What is your next milestone? When you win a grant, I mentioned this earlier, it should be to help you get something done, right? So you should, in your grant application, you always say, okay, with this grant, we're going to do this. That's your next milestone. How much do you need? Elumelu is pretty standard. Elumelu will give you $5,000. That's pretty standard. But in a lot of other grant applications, you will actually be the one to say, this is the amount that I need. Yes. So they'll give you their limit anyway. They'll tell you maybe this grant fund is $5,000 or $10,000, like the ceiling. They'll tell you the ceiling. So you will now be the one to now choose maybe 7,000 or 8,000, but you must defend it. You must defend it with a budget, right? How long will it take? Projected impact, and scale. These are things that you need to essentially settle. Okay. Now, I want to give you an example here. Don't say things like, I will start my cosmetic line the way Tara did. I'll go to China and produce my brand of lipsticks and body cream. Right? Break it down. How will this grant help you? So an example would be, with $10,000, we will launch a beauty school that will train about 2,000 aspiring skin specialists over the next 3 years, equipping them with skills that will make them skilled beauticians and employers of labor. Do we understand? Can we see the difference between this one that wants to copy Tara and this person that is very sure about what they want to do, right? That's it. So, in summary, what are grant-giving institutions looking out for? 4 things. They're looking out for the right solutions, they're looking out for radical pitches, they're looking out for resourceful entrepreneurs, and they're looking for real scalability, right? So, before I round up with how to pass Tony Elumelu application, I want you to go to the chat section right now. Oh, I didn't remember the financial software. Okay, so there is Wave Accounting. There is also Zoho. You can check out Zoho. Wave Accounting is no longer supporting Nigerian businesses, right? Even though if you've been on Wave before, you can keep using it. Like we're still on Wave, did not keep us out. But Zoho is very user friendly, so you can try Zoho, right? So everybody, I want you to go to the chat section right now, and out of the 4 points that we've talked about so far, I want you to tell me the one that you connected with the most. Which of the 4 did you connect with the most? Which one eat you? Which one eat you? Is it right solutions? Is it radical pitches? Is it resource for entrepreneurs? Or is it risk scalability? Which point did you find most useful before we conclude with Tony Elumelu? Okay, Adeyeye is saying right solutions. Olugbenga is saying radical pitches. Keep them coming. Keep your comments coming. Okay, Stephen is saying right solutions. Who else again? Okay, Adeyeye is saying radical pitches. Today Isaac is saying radical pitches. That's interesting. Okay, all right. Thank you all for sharing. Now, let's move on very quickly to the application process. When you apply, if you're successful, you are going to be either in the startup category, the innovator category, or the disruptor category, right? If you're unsuccessful, you'll be in the proprietary category. But of course, nobody on this call will fall there, right? That's why we're having this call, so that you know exactly how to crush it. So let's move on. Now, the online assessment is divided into 2 parts. There's the psychometric personality test part, and then there's the business and financial knowledge assessment part. Now, the scoring is something like this. How the scoring is done. You have the test questions, which is online test. You have the TEF Connect, Interaction TEF Connect, which is, you're going to have 12 weeks of online classes, right? So when we're talking about the webinars, the response to surveys, activity on TEF Connect, right? 50. You also have mentor engagement. You're going to be paired with a mentor. That's about 10 marks. So please, when you're paired with a mentor, please follow up with your mentor, do your assignments, all those things. You want to have, because you are essentially competing with the rest of Africa. So as much as possible, make sure that you do all of these things so you can qualify for the business plan stage and so that you can actually pitch your business. Now, how can you pass the personality assessment part? Like I told you when we started this, every single time I took the online test, of course, playfully because I'm a totally Elumelu fellow, so they will disqualify my application, of course, right? But every single time I took it, I ended up being a disruptor. How did I do it? For personality assessment, the first thing is make sure that you are yourself. Be yourself. Let's go back. Be yourself. Avoid extreme answers. Don't pick the extreme answers when you start taking the test. You see answers like strongly agree, strongly disagree. If all your answers are strongly agree, strongly disagree, something is wrong somewhere. Right? Sometimes you won't disagree, sometimes you'll be in the middle. So your answer should look like a human being actually pick the options, not like a robot, not like a program. Another thing is you want to answer questions with an ethical and a professional mindset. The thing is that there are some certain questions that would be, let me give you an example. Imagine you come across a question that says, when you win grant funding from Elumelu, what will you do with your grant funding? And you have A, travel to Dubai, B, implement my business plan, C, donate to a church or mosque. What is the right answer? Let me take the question again. When you win Elumelu grant funding, what will you do with your funds? A, travel to Dubai, B, implement my business plan, C, donate to a mosque or a church. What's the right answer? B. Okay, let's keep going. B, implement. Any other person? What is the right answer? B, implementation. So are we sure it's not travel to Dubai? So of course the answer is obviously implement your business plan. Now I'm hoping that you will not win the money and travel to Dubai. I'm hoping that you will not do that. However, that kind of question is a very ethical question. If you obviously pick travel to Dubai or donate to a mosque or church, obviously that single question can cost you the entire thing. Because that single question simply shows that you are not interested in the grant to grow your business or to create jobs. You are interested in that grant for yourself, right? And finally, mind the time, right? It's about 45 minutes that you have. Once you start taking the test, you see your time counting down. It's like when you're writing like CBT, JAM, or you're writing IELTS or IELTS, or you're writing any of those professional courses or taking an online course, the time is going to be counting down. So you need to mind the time. Let's go on. Now, to help you also pass the personality test, there are 5 things that make an entrepreneur, the traits of an entrepreneur. The first is achievement striving. Entrepreneurs are fiercely ambitious people. They're always striving to achieve things. It's why you see an average entrepreneur, winning awards, doing the crazy things and all. Of course, behind me, for instance, you see some awards, right? Like, I'm just the typical vintage entrepreneur, right? Who is passionate about, smashing records, and, moving to the next, level. It's always like that. Entrepreneurs are achievement striving. So if you come across a question and they're asking you something that has to do with achievement, you should know the answer should be strongly agree. Another thing is entrepreneurs are very industrious, right? We are people that can create something out of nothing, right? So, okay. Yemisi, thank you so much. Thank you. So entrepreneurs are very industrious people. So if there's a question that is asking about creativity or something like that, for instance, a question you might likely meet is something around routine. They'll ask you a question whether you like routine or not. Entrepreneurs don't like routine. It is job seekers, people that or people that work 9 to 5. People that have a career working 9 to 5. Those are the ones that like routine and predictability. Entrepreneurs are dynamic. They are industrious. Entrepreneurs are passionate people, and we like taking control. If you come across a question and they're asking you that in a meeting, which of the following people is most likely to lead the meeting, right? And they tell you maybe a business owner, a worker, something like that. Of course, it's the business owner. Entrepreneurs are usually people that want to take control. They're like control freaks. Though not all the time, but most of the time, entrepreneurs are, you can say, amambe. In English, we used to jump like this. right? Because we like taking control, right? And then of course, entrepreneurs are very creative people. So when you're taking the online test, the assessment, you need to have all of this in your mind, right? Essentially, you need to think like an entrepreneur. If you answer the questions without the mindset of an entrepreneur, you are more likely to miss actually the questions, right? And for the cognitive assessment part, essentially, it aims to test your financial knowledge. Okay, let me check the chat section. Cholerics. Well, not all the time. Yeah, not all the time. Okay. Now, there are straightforward questions, there are calculation based questions, there are pattern recognition questions, there are scenario based questions. A straightforward question, of course, is straightforward. Calculation based questions, for instance, they can ask questions based on, say, profit and loss. All right. They say somebody bought a car at a 20% markup. If he wants to sell it at 10% profit, how much should he sell it? You literally have to put out your bio, maybe even press your calculator self, right? Then there are pattern recognition questions. You will see questions like, they will say, um, eagle, maybe hawk, sky, right? You can see another one, man, woman being. They can now put maybe insect, dash, and maybe put ant, right? And then the options, you probably see something like sand, like here, right? So obviously, that kind of question is based on like habitats where they live, right? So you need to be alert for pattern recognition questions. You will also have scenario-based questions where they tell you something like maybe in a company, somebody wants to hire, and they want to hire people with maybe 12 years experience, have an English degree. They'll now give you a list of people and the degrees they have or the qualifications. They now tell you which one is the right section or who should the person hire. Those are scenario based questions. So you need to read the question thoroughly. Don't just jump to the answer, right? Number three, if you want to prepare for an online test, you can either take free online GMAT test or free IELTS test. It's a good way to prepare, right? So that you don't just start, because once you start the test, you can't stop. And some of you are thinking, I will just take the question and run away. It's not possible. Because before you take the test, you will have already filled in your business details and everything. So it's not possible, right? Once you finish, whether you pass or fail, you see it on the screen in real time. Okay. So I wish you all the very best with your Tony Elumelu application. I just want to end by reminding you that if you want to apply for grants, or maybe you've been applying for grants and you've been getting rejection after rejection after rejection, you can go straight to grandmaster.xyz and hire the top 5% of grant writers. These are the baddest grant writers ever lived. Our grant writers have raised $4.5 million combined, and just visit our website, check it out. I'm sure you like what you see. So I want to thank you so much for this session. Thank you, Dr. Adeyeye Yemisi. And I hope there's time for questions. So I'm going to stop my screen share now. Hello, everybody. Hello, Doctor. I hope you're there. So I'm done. I'm done. I hope that you had fun. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm done. So, Doctor, please over to you now.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic listening to you. And it's such a pleasure to have you here. And you've done so much justice to it. In fact, I just kept writing and just,
Wow.
Yes. So thank you so much for the beautiful presentation. I know that there are many people here that have some questions for you. So if you have any question for Mr. Benga, kindly put it in the chat box so he will be able to see it and definitely grant you the audience that you need. But while we wait for the questions, I have this feeling that some people didn't hear us well or didn't join us from the beginning. Mr. Benga is a fantastic businessman and a very smart guy. And
I'm shy. I'm blushing.
sometimes I wonder how he gets to do all of these things. So when people look at me and they say, "Oh, madam, you are doing so much," they don't know I have mentors. people that
Already.
people that we look up to.
Doctor, you are the mentor's mentor. I'm there.
Thank you so much. And all these things that Mr. Benga, kindly pay attention to the chat box. There are some questions coming in for you while I quickly say some few things. You know, all the things we've learned today, they are not only for you to use for Tony Elumelu Foundation grants. There are so many grant opportunities that comes up. In fact, this year, I think I've shared notice of about 5 or 6 grants already this year.
Wow.
And so if you want to hear about these things, there are different ones. Some are specific to sectors, like he said. Some are general. So just join Lifehound Business Network. It's a network that is dedicated to business training. And you definitely get so many information about opportunities for this grant. I also want to sound a little note of caution to us, because if you are not careful, the only thing you do all your life is to seek grants. And when they now say present your bank statement, you don't have anything coming from your sales. So please, as much as grant is very good, you should not live your business life on grants. I'm saying this to you not because I don't want you to get grants. I've gotten a couple of them, and I keep getting and keep getting and getting again. But that should not be the only thing your business is about.
All right.
There's this word in the in the entrepreneur space that they call some people grantpreneurs. If you ask them to print their bank statement, they don't have any serious sales, no cash flow. The only money you see in their business account is grants. It shouldn't be. You can't run a sustainable business waiting for the next grant you want to get. It doesn't work like that. So it's my vision, it's my desire that you run a structured business, a proper business that grows, that is productive, that is profitable. When you run this kind of business, you now become the next Tony Elumelu, so that you can give money to people to run their own businesses. By the way, this year, 2021, I run a platform, mentorship platform, and the people in this present class, I'm giving one of them, the top person, a grant. Because God has helped me in my business. When you say God, doesn't mean that God will come down to help you, but I put a lot of processes in place, and my business is making, some progress, and I can also begin to help others. In fact, I also run a cooperative for business owners. So don't just think about what can I get, what are going to get, give me. You to start planning that this business, I'm going to do the best. I'm going to run it appropriately, so that it gets to a point that you're so blessed, you can put a percentage to give grants to other people. These are the kind of African business owners we are raising. But, it will be somehow that we don't tell you about these helps that are available. They are available, but please don't now build your house on grants alone. You can see that in the course of talking, this Mr. Gbenga told us that he also helps people. He provides that service for people. So he gets revenue from it. So it's not only from waiting for grants. Grant is good. It will come your way. In fact, by listening to this, if you sit down and look at that fact that he spoke about, you'll be able to apply for grants. So if you have not joined Lifetime Business Network Facebook group, please go and join now. Mr. Gbenga, please let me write in the chat box, Life Fountain, but for short, Life Found. So it's a compound word, Life Found. Business Network is a Facebook group. Join. You will see all the opportunities. This year I posted, no, there's no hyphen there, Mr. Gbenga. It's a compound, it's just a single word. Sorry, I mean to say.
Okay.
Life Found. FOUNT, Life Found. Business Network is on Facebook group. So there are so many opportunities. I've shared so many. In fact, for me, I cannot even apply for all of it because I have other important things I want to do. So please Don't keep crying. There's no money for business. Nobody's helping anybody. You are the one that is not showing up when the help is available. Sure. All right. So let's give the opportunity for Mr. Gbenga to answer some of this.
Okay. Thank you so much for inspiring us. Thank you so much. Okay, so I want to try to attend some of the questions. What other grants platforms apart from Tony Elumelu, sir? So I'm going to drop a website where you can go and search for grants, fundsforngos.com. And in fact, if you can subscribe for their premium service, they have a premium service where you pay and you'll be able to like do advanced level search. So if you can, but if you cannot afford the premium service, that's fine. The free service is also good. So the free service also gives you access to the same thing. So check out our website if you want to see more grants. Another question is.
Sorry, somebody dropped a chat, and I would like to quickly comment on that.
Okay.
The person said that is more than 35. That can he get grants? Yes, you can get grants. It's of a truth that 35 and below is the age for many grants, but there are so many other grants that don't have age or gender specifics, like Tony Elumelu. It doesn't have age specifics. It doesn't have, it's not specific to any gender. The only thing is that for newer businesses, it's easier for you to get in. In fact, they want newer businesses, maybe 3 years and below and so on. So, but if you have business that is older than that and your application is strong, you can never tell who is behind the scene that is choosing who will get in. So don't let that stop you. So if you want it, get in and apply. Then somebody asked a question, a photographer, can a photographer apply? Yes, you can apply. Or you cannot go there and say, I take pictures, and so what? So you have to go with another angle, maybe by reducing, saying that you reduce unemployment rate, or you train people, look at the SDGs, what can you tie it to? What are you doing? Is it that, okay, you are taking young boys off the street? So in fact, when you start applying for grants, it starts giving you the idea of thinking community with your business. You don't think about you alone. You start thinking about other people. Because people that want to give you grant, they are thinking of other people. If they're not thinking of other people, they won't say they have made money, you come and take from me. They're thinking of you. So you too, when you're doing your business, don't just think, okay, oh, I'm just this. So no matter how basic your business is or how you think is not making impact, look at it critically. Look at it critically. Oh, I sell caps. So if you're selling cap, what is this? Okay, how many staff do you have? Oh, I have 10 staff. I have 3 in Lagos. I have 2 in Kano. You can go from the angle of, you are taking ages 18 to 25 and you're giving them jobs through this opportunity. Then probably you're also training them how to make caps. So don't just go, especially if you think your business is too basic, it's not boom, out of this world, fantastic, it looks basic. Of course, it's not like photographers don't make money, they make a lot of money. But if you just say, okay, Tony Elumelu, I take pictures. So there's more to it. So that's why we are doing this guide, this grant application guide, so that you can know how to think, how to package what you do. Because there's no kind of business that cannot get grant, but it depends on how you package it. And thankfully, that's what Mr. Gbenga does for part of the things he does for a living. So if you need his service, of course, you pay for his time. So Tony Elumelu is free. The application is free. Nobody's charging you for money. But if you want to use someone else's time, since you are not Mr. Gbenga's father or mother, he will definitely charge a token for his time. You understand? But it's not compulsory. He has given you the secret. The same thing he taught you is what those people behind the scene will do for you. But we are saying if you don't want to do it for yourself, don't let that stop you. Okay? So it's a beautiful opportunity. Then much more than getting money into your business, there's something these opportunities does to you. And I will tell you now. It gives you that confidence that you are not just an ordinary person doing one ordinary thing in one ordinary corner. It gives you endorsement. It endorses you. Yeah. You can see how Mr. Gbenga put so many flags behind his head. I think I'm going to copy him. Well, if I'm going to copy him, I think almost all my walls will be filled with almost all sides and everywhere. See, he's even showing you more. Please don't come and intimidate us, sir. Stop showing us. That's what it does to you. Because, you know, when you are not working with the government, sometimes there's no promotion from grade level 1 to 2 and 3. Nobody promotes you as the CEO. But when you get these things, it just gives you that endorsement. It makes you feel like, okay, I'm doing something, and somebody is taking note of what I am doing, my contribution. In fact, I proposed a model called Yemisi Adeyeye Entrepreneurship Model, and it's in my book. The fourth quadrant speaks about the benefits of entrepreneurship. And it says it goes to the 4 C's: the CEO, the client, the company staff, and the community. So you need to think community when you're doing your business. So Mr. Gwenga is nodding his head. So if you have not gotten my book, it's also on Amazon. So if you want the soft copy, you can go to Amazon. But if you reach out to me, it's a paper copy that I would like you to get so that you can also share with other people. You can also open it because, in fact, 3 chapters is dedicated to finance, 1 to bookkeeping, 1 to taxes, 1 to classification of accounts. And someone said, well, she's a medical doctor. Yes. If you have knowledge gap, you go for it. I went for it. I use it in my business. It's working for me. And I can recommend it to you. Because, you know, sometimes they are saying a lot of things. It looks like big grammar, but we have chewed it. We've made it easier. So just come and take it and digest it. So this is a key to peace of mind. So that business that is disturbing you, that staff that is giving you a headache, how to handle them so that you can achieve peace of mind is here. And go to that vacation you have always dreamt of. Then I also do mentoring to one-on-one and holding coaching. I do one-on-one coaching, mentoring. I do group mentoring. In fact, I have a class going on now, a group going on now for January/February. So you can join, you can reach out to me. I'm Yemisi Adeyeye on Instagram. Slide into my DM. You know, I'm always, in fact, it's so easy. Just go to yemisiadeyeye.com. So everything you want to know about me, at least most of it is there. You can connect with me. So thank you so much for being part of this. I'm sure that we have answered most of the question. I don't know if Mr. Olugbenga wants to drop 1 or 2 comments before we call it a day or wrap it up.
Okay, so I think some people are asking if the record, if they'll get a recording of the training. So, Doctor, will they get a record?
Yes, you can see it's being recorded, and it's on Yemisi Adeyeye Consults on YouTube. So it's there now. So in case you have a friend that is not in the house now, just send them Yemisi Adeyeye Consults. You'll see it there. So it's actually going on live, and after now it will still be there. So we'll make it public. Fantastic. So that's our contribution to you, my contribution to you. So thank you so much for being part of this. So you can listen to it over and over again. In fact, subscribe to my channel because there's so many amazing things there and so many other things that will come. Someone says that she came late. No problem. Don't worry about this. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube as I speak right now. Go to subscribe to Yemisi Adeyeye Consults. Yemisi Adeyeye Consults. Somebody said, here is the link. So just type in, I'm the only Yemisi Adeyeye Consults in the whole world on YouTube. So you will not get 2 of them. So, and you can also join Life Found Business Network on Facebook. And I'm also on Instagram. In fact, I'm everywhere. Thank you so much. E-Power is the name of Mr. Gbenga's company. So you can also, you know, be a part of it. Thank you so much for today. It's been an amazing time, a very wonderful time. Please go and apply. We've done 3 parts. This is the 3rd grants guide that we are doing. The 3rd one, we had Mrs. Angela Iheze twice. She's like the top #1 business plan writer in Nigeria, and we brought the grandmaster of grant application. What more can you ask for? And I am the relatable business teacher, and I'm ready to help you to, you know, to grow that your business, to hold your hand to that your successful business place, that place that you dream of. I am ready to hold your hand to get there. So it's a pleasure having you here. It's a fantastic time. And just go and win the grants, go and do your business well, go and fly, enjoy yourself, have fun. And please don't forget, structure your business. Structure your business. Be an entrepreneur, not just a business owner. A business that has structure is that's the one they call entrepreneurship. The one that has no structure is just business or self-employed or something. But we don't want it to be like that. We want it to be entrepreneurs. So I don't know if Mr. Gbenga has some parting words before we end this session. Thank you.
No, I mean, it's just to thank you very much for putting all of this together. And for every single person that has listened to this session and the previous sessions, what I want to say is don't be like a typical Nigerian that goes to mosque or church every single Friday and Sunday and writes and then comes back home and drops that jot under their bed. Use every single thing you've learned. Don't just be excited about the things we've shared. Execute. So that's my parting words to you. Don't just be excited. Execute. Thank you.
Execute. Somebody say, what are your Instagram and Facebook page, Mr. Gbenga?
Okay, I'll share that now.
Mine is Yemisi Adeyeye, so let me just type it in. So everybody should execute Abego. Let's say it's the way we say it in Nigeria, in case you are listening to us from other places. All right. I hope you can all see it. You know, anytime I come online or have a group of people to teach business and, I don't want to go again. It's always a fantastic time, but we have to go now. Thank you so much for being part of it. So subscribe to Yemisi Adeyeye, consult on YouTube so that you can get the latest training and the latest business information available. So don't forget to get your copy. It's just 5,000 naira. It's a loaded book. You can see. So it's not a pamphlet too. Thank you. All right. Thank you. So have a fantastic day, night, whatever time it is where you are. Once again, I'm Yemisi Adeyeye.